hair done at this hair salon. Not that I like her hairstyle, but her hair looks nice. And she said the person can cut my hair really good, but I'm like, are they specialized in curly, like, mixed girl hair? So, and I never like to take chances with them, because, back in the day I would take chances and I would get fucked. So, I'm not going to trust the hairdresser. But I need to get my hair cut really bad.
This is such a messed up meme. I see all the meat is gone from the shelves, yet all the seasonings remain. It's clear who is panicking.
Yeah.
That's messed up.
You think they're the first ones to go? I would like to see the statistics of, like, ethnicity of the deaths. Would that be wrong? Because that could say something too. They're talking about old people and young people. Let's talk about old people and young people of what ethnicity though? Like old people.
Yeah, Mahomes
Asian
is so
old people.
fucking crazy, bro.
What?
The same motherfuckers just doing stupid shit at the house.
Oh yeah. So all them challenges and stuff out right now, I can't. You saw the one I posted on my story? Go watch my story. It was on Ellen DeGeneres. I shared it. That shit was really funny. I think it should still be there. Yeah, it's still there. It's the first one.
You on your Instagram?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram. Click the page. Go to Ellen's page. Damn it, I don't know the space.
Oh, I saw that when the dude put the soap on the floor.
You gotta slide through all of them. Did you slide through all of them? There's multiple ones in one post. That's why I thought it was funny. The second one I think is the funniest. The guy with the wine glass. Put the sound on. I don't know how to show you.
Yeah, because I don't see it. It's just pictures.
Because you gotta, when you hit the story, it says when you tap it, you can see post and it takes you to their page.
Thank you for coming, Chin Chin. Chin Chin, Chin Chin. Thank you, Chin Chin, guys. Chin Chin, Chin Chin, Chin Chin. Thank you for coming, Chin Chin. Chin Chin.
He's just hitting all the mirrors. Then they're playing tennis. Oh, you're not paying attention. It's okay. But anyway, I thought that was funny.
What up? How's it going in your apocalypse? My apocalypse is going just as planned. So when Andrew Yang was running for president, he was talking about the UBI, Universal Basic Income, which was figuring out a way to give everybody $1,000. And motherfuckers called him crazy. And now, like, Trump is trying to figure out a way to give everybody $1,000. The irony of it is just, it's so delicious. So delicious. And I just saw something from Yang again. He's back in the news. What did that shit just say? Most expensive homes. New island formed in the Red Sea. Pompeo accused China, Russia, and Iran of disinformation. Analyst is on the tier, and that's troubling. Our dollar been on the tier for a long time, yo. That shit been so fragile for so long, it only would take something like this to fucking crush our economy. And it's not gonna be easy to rebound from this shit. people realize like everything's made in fucking China. Like what the fuck? And if these motherfuckers really keep poking at China, yo, they bought a lot of our debt, and they can call that shit in, yo. And then what? Airlines are storing their largest planes. Is proposed $1 trillion stimulus enough? What did they did? What did they do in 2008 with the banker bailout when they had that stimulus package for the banks? It was 1 point something trillion dollars to keep the banks afloat when that whole housing market crash, inflation bubble debacle. And this is ridiculous because none of the comments are coming in. Yo, what up, bro? I am getting comments on the app, yo. Once again, yo, I don't know why my comment section won't work on the fucking stream, yo. It's the weirdest thing, guys. What else? They're still talking sports. Details of Brady's contract with the Bucks. Watch Henry work out in parking lot. All right. Judges put hold on Democrats' suit for Trump's tax returns. Amid closings, Las Vegas is eerily quiet. See pictures of New York's empty streets. There it goes. There was Yang. Yang nonprofit to spend 1 million plus to aid working families hit by the virus. If I was a voter, you know what I'm saying, I would have voted for Yang. I could have got behind Yang, yo.
You don't ever vote.
Give me my bread looking ass. 10K, motherfucker. Huh? No, I don't never vote, yo. I voted. The last time I voted was the second time Bush Jr. was up for his term, yo. His second term, yo. And he was going against Clinton's ex vice president. What's that motherfucker name was? Anyway. Al Gore. That's who it was. It was Bush. It was Bush and Al Gore. And I ain't like Al Gore, really. But I really, really didn't like Bush. Let me try to vote on the opposite. And that shit ain't worked. And Bush still got that shit the second term. And they had to do some recall in Florida where Bush's cousin was over the voting rights board or some crazy ass shit, you know what I'm saying? And his brother was the goddamn governor. It's like, that's just such coincidence, man. Only one state decided which way the presidency would go, and you got a brother and a cousin in that state. So, that shit was kind of weird. After that, I was just like, I don't think I'm gonna play these games anymore. I never voted again. Bush second term, 4 years, and then Obama 2 terms. That's 8 more years. Then Trump first term. That's 4 years. Shit, I ain't voted in 16 years. I tried that shit. Like, I was like, nah, I'm good. I'm okay. I'm not gonna keep playing these damn games with y'all, thinking my vote count. Mm.
I don't understand how you don't know that shit from day one.
Yeah, old Jeb. Jeb Bush. Like, come on, bro. System is rigged. You know what I'm saying? I read enough history to see how this shit plays out, man. These motherfuckers, the Bush family, the oil family from Texas, in cahoots with the Carlyle group, who's in cahoots with the Bin Laden family, and then all that shit started running together. And it's like, man, this world is crazy, man. All the rich people fuck with all the rich people, whether they presidents, diplomats, prime ministers, or fucking lead uh, terrorist cell organizers and shit, man. All these motherfuckers deal with each other, man. This shit is crazy. All that voting shit, man. Vote locally. That's the only way we'll ever really change shit. You know what I'm saying? Vote local. Vote for your mayor, and vote for your congressman, and vote for your governor. And so you know what's going on directly where you live at. You know what I'm saying? Vote for local shit, yo. You want better shit in your school? You need to go to goddamn the
Board meetings?
yeah the educational board meetings and vote because all them motherfuckers got to get voted in, man. All that shit is votes. Your sheriffs, who you want to be, that man, all this shit, man. Vote locally. That presidential shit, man, that shit is all a goddamn scam. Way at the top, man, that shit is scam, yo. Really, that shit crazy, bro. That shit crazy, bro. And like I said, I've been telling people, yo, this is, I don't know, because the information and disinformation are so hard to read between the lines, yo. Because they're saying that this is the worst thing ever, and that the only thing is that they are acting like it is the worst thing ever. None of the other pandemics that we've ever faced, this shit ain't stopped the goddamn world. Like they're slowly shutting down the whole fucking world over this shit, yo. And so if they're acting like it is that bad, we have to believe it is, but then like because they're going to be talking to you. You got to look over their shoulder and see what the fuck they're doing in the background. Because while we're all focused on this, there's other shit that is occurring right now that we may be unaware of if we don't try to read between the lines and keep up with, other global news. But so if this thing is as bad as they saying it are, because I've heard reports saying that it's not if you're going to get it, it's when you get it. And when you get it, are you healthy enough to survive this shit? Is basically what they're saying. So, but even if you never catch this fucking COVID-19 Wuhan Chinese virus corona shit, whatever, if you never catch it, like this shit has impacted so many people and will continue to impact everybody on a direct level. Like this shit is fucking up our regular flow of life, yo. Everybody is directly affected by this shit, and if you're not, you will soon be. My job is already cut fucking hours. I'm losing 15 hours a week, and my office building is deserted, yo. Throughout the day, it's me and one or two other people in there all day. It's weird as shit, and I don't know how long they can carry this shit on, because the state that I live in uh, sent out a statewide statement saying that all non-essential businesses are here for a shutdown, and just riding around trying to find like regular stuff, yo. The one store was closed. We went to another store that's closed, and our liquor store is boarded up. Every It looks like an abandoned building. Every window, the entire door, everything is boarded up. This shit feels weird as fuck. And people are losing their jobs, and their savings are going to fucking shit because the stock market won't stop goddamn dropping. And I mean, I own my home, but if I go a couple of weeks without some income, how the fuck am I supposed to pay my property taxes and all this shit? And I got land in a different state. How am I supposed to pay my taxes on that shit if I'm not making some kind of fucking income? And they're talking about giving people $1,000. How fast can they do that fucking shit? And how long can they delay rent payments and utility payments? And who are going to qualify to have their utilities and their other bills put on standby or hold or pause or whatever? Like, I'm really more concerned about the economic fallout behind this shit. Fuck the virus. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna drink me some honey with some goddamn some lemon balm or some shit. You know what I'm
Apple cider
saying?
vinegar.
Yes, apple cider with that mother in that
Some lemon
shit.
juice and some
Man, I think I could be alright. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, like financially, like what the fuck? What the Once again, the whole fucking world is shutting down. And then I swear, yo, in my homie's Facebook timeline, he had like 4 or 5 pictures. The first picture is like he chilling at work, like shit. Rona ain't gonna stop the goddamn dollar from coming through. Then he had another picture of some bullshit, another bullshit picture, and then another picture he at home to my, oh, they done sent us home. Like that. In the same timeline, nigga. I thought you was at work just a minute ago. They was like, all right, that's a wrap. We're done. Everybody. And I don't know, this shit is rolling across the fucking country where they're shutting shit down. And that's what people don't understand. Just a few days make a real difference in how the fucking world functions. A few days. Now they're saying 2 weeks. But what if the 2 weeks turn into 3 weeks in a month and a half, 3 months? I mean, how fast can we fucking get this shit under control and actually recover from this shit?
What I just sent you was so funny.
Losing everything from a goddamn flu.
Damn, I don't know if he's trying to eat swell like this when the world's shutting down. To
But
preserve that shrimp.
my goddamn that's the thing too, like it's changing the way we do shit, yo. All this homeschooling now, there's like, here's a laptop for you. Go home. No more, we canceling school for the fucking rest of the year. And goddamn, like I say, everybody who's can telecommute is working from home now. And now when this is over, are you gonna force us to come back to the office when you see I was doing a perfectly good job at home, doing just fine, doing the exact same thing? Instead of coming to the office and sitting in front of a computer, I'm sitting at home in front of a computer doing the exact same fucking thing. So, like, will this change the way we work? And if it does, then what's the replacement for the office buildings? Um, if this changes the way that we do education, then what becomes of the school buildings? And so, like, there's just so many variables on, like, how to actually come out of this quarantine shit. Will everything just go back to complete normal, just fine, just like it was with no problems? Or will some of this shit actually stick and maintain? Mm. The transition for the robotic age, the forced e-commerce looking ass nigga. Yo, and then now they're talking about in New York, the cops are catching this shit, yo. Now the cops got to self quarantine. What happens when half your fucking police force are so called infected with this virus? You gotta roll the military out. Then what? Then the military catch it. Then what? Now we really looking like some motherfucking some like yo some purge. I'm telling you, yo, you gotta get ready for this purge shit, yo. This is no joke, man. Broken arrow looking ass.
What?
I tell you my worst fear, yo. It's gonna sound slightly racist, but it's not. But yo, these white nationalists, militias, all these fucking crazy ass gun groups and all this shit, man. Yo, the purge. But it's gonna be the perfect time for these motherfuckers. Yo, I'm telling you. I can see some shit like that going down in some small rural areas where these motherfuckers like, fuck that, the world's ending. And you know, motherfuckers who still holding church, they preaching the hell about this shit, yo. The end times. You know what? I might do that, yo. I might listen to some televangelists just for the hell of it and see what and see how they're trying to spin this shit on their congregations. Has anybody been listening to anything like that? These mega church televangelists, I can guarantee you somebody trying to spin this shit as the end of time, yo. When crazies look sane. I'm telling you, man, just after all that shit that happened in Virginia, I keep forgetting the name of that little town, yo. But all the little weird shit, man, all the mass shootings and all that shit, man. Come on, man. There's a nice track record of white dudes going crazy. Man, it's the perfect time for all the crazies to come out. I can just see that shit going down. Like I say, especially if this shit is, I don't know. Like I say, man, it's so hard to tell. Like you say, most 80% of cases are mild cases of whatever. I just feel really bad. Ugh. Oh, you test positive for coronavirus. You know, you might be better in a little while, unless you already had COPD or advanced lung cancer. Or I don't know. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Like, it's so hard. It's just so much shit. Like, it'll kill you. It's not that bad, but you're gonna die. But you could recover from it. It's only for old people. What? This dude is only 20 years old and he's doing real bad. And it's like, you know what I'm saying? And I'm so skeptical, I don't even believe half the shit I think I know. You know, I question myself all the time. Like, why do you even believe what you believe? Why are you believing that right now? You know what I'm saying?
Look how this cop plants this thing on this guy.
I seen that. I posted that shit, yo. Run! Run! That motherfucker haul ass cop stuff. Once he realized the dude got that shit on camera, cop haul ass, yo.
Look at these people, they cover in their ears too and their face. What, the coronavirus can go to my ears now?
Just went in the store. The dude behind the counter, he got on this little mask, got his gloves on.
Arguing with the dude about it, right? That's what they were talking about.
I don't know.
The other dude was telling him not to talk in his face, but I'm like, he got a mask on. You mean don't talk in his face?
Man, see, man, I come from an era like, I don't know, man. I used to jump in ditches and dig up crawfish and toads and frogs and shit. You know what I'm saying? I used to make mud pies and do crazy shit, yo. I don't know. I think I still got a pretty strong immune system. I don't get sick very often. Not like really, really bad sick.
Like a hospital having to go sick.
Yeah. I'm trying to think, yo. The
I
last
mean,
time I
get
went to
the
the
flu.
hospital
I
for
get
being
sick
sick,
for,
yo,
like,
that shit
cough.
was years ago. That shit was like over 10 years ago. I did have a flu one time, yo. And at first I thought it was just like, you know, a normal flu. And like on the second or third day, yo, I couldn't take that shit, man. I felt bad, bro. Like, I don't know, my head was about to split. Yo, my temperature was like 102, 103 degrees, yo. I could not get my fucking temperature down, yo. Body fucking sweating, dehydrated as a bitch, yo. I was like, yo, I gotta go to the fucking hospital, yo. They gotta do something. Motherfuckers gave me, I don't know, some shit. I think it was some morphine. Yo, I ain't no addict, but morphine make you feel. I ain't gonna lie. That shit hit your fucking blood. Yo, that shit feel like ice, nigga. Like, oh shit, what the fuck? Ah, damn. Fuck is that, son? Ugh. Motherfucking morphine. You know what? One of my homeboys, he do work for a plant that makes different. I think he said the department that he's in, they make um the needles, hypodermic needle tips that go on the top of syringes, the shit they put in you. Like, they make those shits, surgical grade fucking hypodermic needle tips. And he says he's a machine operator, so whatever machine that fucking drills and presses these shits out, like, if that fucks up, he's the guy who fixes the machines and shit. But yeah, because I remember one time I was talking about going home, and he was like, if you ever come down here, y'all can get your job where I work at. So you make good money working at that shit too, yo. Hella good money. I was like, facts, yo. I should have talked to him and see, like, how is his company working out, and are they in overtime trying to get these fucking needles made so motherfuckers can get blood samples and all this shit for get tested for goddamn coronavirus. But the morphine was in the IV bag, that slow drip, son. Doop, doop. Like, nigga, stay feeling right.
Damn, you had that much morphine?
No, my homeboy said he did. He was in a motorcycle accident,
Oh,
though.
shit.
Motherfucker fucked up, yo. He good now, though. 100%. Motherfucker back working, chilling. But he was home for a long time, yo. Laid up. Laid up. This nigga on the game all day. Motherfucker play the game all day. Laid up. Bam. Should I start the stream over, guys? We 30 minutes into this thing, man. I hate not having the comments up there. All day. I know it. Damn, well. Alright, guys. I'm going to restart the stream one time. But I hate restarting the stream because I feel like every time the stream starts, I need to talk for a little while. And I already been running my mouth for 30 minutes. I might just keep it going, guys. I need something to drink already. We need to find something to listen to. 9 times out of 10. It's probably going to be some coronavirus. But hey, art and education, we've been up on this shit since that shit started. Yo, who brought that shit to our attention, yo? What was the one dude name? He brought it to our attention about Soleimani, and then he told us about agenda-free TV, and that's how I started listening to Steve, yo, and cause Steve was up on that info about Soleimani too, yo, and so now, ever since I've been listening to Steve, he started talking about the coronavirus, yo, we've been on this shit since day one. Been telling people to get ready, man. This shit changing shit, bro. Shit acting real crazy. And honestly, I never thought it was going to spread too far outside of China. That's my first shit was like, yo, but even China itself shutting down factories and a lot of their major industries and stuff is like, we need China. Hell, if China shuts down, that fucks up a lot of other industries. That's when I really realized, like, I ain't know most of the main ingredients and components for a lot of the medications that we have in the United States is made in China. We can't get none of that shit from over there right now. It's like just little shit like that. And now they're talking about this shit is global, shutting down Italy, France, Mecca. Like, the Olympics is gone. All the daily talk shows is done. I didn't think it'd get this bad. I really didn't. But now that it is, it ain't like I ain't prepared. So let's see who's gonna yell some scary shit at us. Illinois' governor expected to announce stay at home something because it's not long enough for me to read. Let's click on that and see what Illinois is doing.
May her memory be for a blessing. As this epidemic has progressed, we've had to make some hard decisions. I'd like to take a minute to give you a window into my decision making because I think you have a right to know why I've taken the actions that I've taken. You have a right to the truth.
Since the front room, bruh.
Difficult as it may be to hear, because you can bear it. Over the last few weeks, I've reached out to and relied upon some of the best medical experts, epidemiologists, mathematicians, and modelers to help me understand what the progression of this disease will look like in Illinois. My bedrock has been to rely upon science, real, actual science around infection rates and potential mortalities. In my discussions with these experts, I've asked for honesty and hard truths. I ask that choices and consequences of those choices be laid out for me as clearly and starkly as possible. I've asked every one of these experts, what action can I take to save the most lives? Well, they've come back to me with one inescapable conclusion. To avoid the loss of potentially tens of thousands of lives, we must enact an immediate stay-at-home order for the state of Illinois. So that is the action that I'm announcing today. We have looked closely at the trajectory of this virus in countries like Italy and China. Left unchecked, cases in Illinois will rise rapidly.
What do you mean stay
Hospital
at home,
systems
though?
will be overwhelmed. Protective equipment will become
Illinois
scarce.
is right there.
And we
Like
will
this
not
shit is
have
rolling
enough
across the country.
healthcare workers or hospital beds or ventilators
I might have to
for
bounce
the
away.
overwhelming influx of sick patients.
And how
The
long?
only strategy available to us to limit the increase in cases and ensure our healthcare system has capacity to treat those who become ill is to mitigate the spread of coronavirus in the most robust manner possible. I don't come to this decision easily. I fully recognize that in some cases I am choosing between saving people's lives and saving people's livelihoods. But ultimately, you can't have a livelihood if you don't have your life. Of all the obligations that weigh on me as governor, this is the greatest. If there are actions that I can take that will save lives in the midst of this pandemic, no matter how difficult, then I have an obligation to take these actions. Therefore, starting tomorrow evening, Saturday, March 21st at 5 p.m., until the end of April 7th, all our residents will be subject to a stay-at-home order. There is a great deal of misunderstanding about what a stay-at-home order means, so I want to clarify it for everybody. Here's what will stay the same. You'll still be able to leave your house to go to the grocery store to get food. You'll still be able to visit a pharmacy, go to a medical office or hospital, or to gas up your car at a gas station. You'll still be able to go running and hiking and walk your dog. Many, many people will still go to work. For the vast majority of you already taking precautions, your lives will not change very much. There is absolutely no need to rush out to a grocery store or gas station. On Sunday and Monday and Tuesday and every day thereafter, those will be available to you. Agriculture and the press, veterinarians and plumbers, laundromats and banks, roads, bridges, and transit, the fundamental building blocks that keep our society safe and steady, will not be closing down. You can still pick up dinner from your local restaurant, pick up your prescriptions, and just spend time with your
You can walk
family.
your dog.
We are doing all that we can to maintain as much normalcy
this is
as
that
possible,
weird-ass
while
language they're
taking the
using,
steps
like
that we must to protect you.
a statewide stay-at-home
That
order.
brings me to what will change.
Alright, some people will
What
go to
will
work.
change?
All non-essential businesses must stop operating. If you can work from home and aren't already doing so, now is the time when you must. The heroes of this moment are healthcare workers, first responders,
Isn't
law
that what
enforcement
Governor Wolf
officers,
said, right?
and the individuals and
Same.
organizations like the Illinois AFL-CIO and other workers who keep our grocery stores and pharmacies running cannot stay home. We need you. This executive order is fundamentally about the rest of us and what we can do to support the people on the front lines of this fight and the people most vulnerable to its consequences. We know this will be hard, and we're looking at every tool that we have to help you through this crisis. For our essential workers, we're going to make sure you have safe daycare to take care of your children while you do the critical work to save us and to keep us safe. For those who are asking
I don't
to
need
stay
water to
home,
paint,
we're
bro.
ordering municipalities, to those that we are asking to stay home, we're ordering municipalities across the state to halt all evictions.
A troll.
We need our local leaders to help ensure our families do not lose their homes. I'm also directing additional resources to organizations across the state to serve those experiencing homelessness. For our students, your school districts will
Now you
continue
can
to
solve
provide
homelessness?
you with meals, and we will back them up in this. I wish I could stand up here and tell you when your schools will safely reopen, but that is not an answer that I have at this time. We're postponing our tentative reopening date statewide until April 8th, and we'll continue to update you with new information.
But I think this is what the governor of Pennsylvania said yesterday.
The capacity or the desire to police
as of 8 o'clock last night, all non-essential businesses needed to stop operating. But like they said, I still have work next week, so it's weird. I don't know what the fuck they're trying to do and why they're using this like vague ass language of mandatory stay at home, but things won't change.
The easy thing to say today is that soon everything will go back to the way it was.
Or will it?
But I want to be honest with you about that too.
But I want to be honest with you.
We don't know yet all the steps we are going to have to take to get this virus under control. But here's what I do know. About 150 years ago, the city of Chicago burned to the ground. When the ashes cleared, we passed laws requiring buildings be built with fireproof material. We invented skyscrapers. Chicago went from a small Midwest town to one of the biggest cities in the United States. And just to make a point, we built the Chicago Fire Academy on the very spot where the Great Chicago Fire started burning. In the coming days and weeks, we're going to expand testing in Illinois to figure out how to detect COVID-19 more quickly and more efficiently. Our scientists and our doctors are working on treatments even now. They will screen people more effectively, isolate them more quickly, and detect them more efficiently. They're going to learn, and as they learn, they're going to innovate. They're already on a path to develop a vaccine. Our healthcare infrastructure will adapt because it must. This will not last forever. However, it's going to force us to change, but that's okay. Any event of this magnitude should force us to change. We here in Illinois have overcome obstacles before, and we'll do so again, and we will rise to this occasion. Thank you, and now I'd like to introduce the mayor of the city of Chicago, Lori Lightfoot.
Thank you, Governor. I have to say again, not only thank you for partnership, but your leadership in this incredible time. I've heard from people all over the country that we feel that Illinois is in good hands because of your leadership. So thank you very much. As the governor just announced, he is issuing a stay-at-home order.
Why don't you drop the mic?
And I hope you think of it that way. This is clearly not a decision that was made lightly, nor by any one person. And I echo the governor's statement. These are not our only difficult choices to be made, but they are choices that must be made for the good of all of our residents. The governor, local leaders, and I are in full agreement that we need to act swiftly, and then this decision is necessary. As the governor alluded to, we have seen what bold measures have yielded in places like Japan and Singapore and South Korea. And sadly, we are witnessing what is not happening around the world in countries that did not hold the line. The coronavirus will not go away by happenstance. We must be intentional about taking steps to flatten the curve. Today's announcement, along with other steps taken in the last
I'm so tired of hearing that shit, yo.
We can only save lives and blunt the spread of this virus by keeping as many people as practical at home and safe.
Now, who else is going to say flatten the curve?
I want to talk specifically about what this will mean for Chicago. Our city, in the absence of leadership from the federal government, frankly, is doing the following. Finalizing, securing quarantine and isolation locations, bolstering hospital capacity, supporting our healthcare workers and first responders, and doing everything possible to relieve the pressure on them, and building a supply chain to make sure that critical equipment to the healthcare system, things like ventilators, PPEs, and other important supplies, are available and given to areas of need.
PPEs.
We will continue to identify residents who are sick and ensure they receive the treatment and resources they so rightfully deserve, and put them on a path to recovery, as has happened already with many. Our healthcare workers have been at the forefront of this pandemic. They are working around the clock and putting their own health on the line to keep those who need it most. That means we as a city must do everything we can to help them. Now is not the time for half measures, but preventative and proactive plans, ones rooted in science and data, and to mitigate the spread and ultimately to save lives. And let's be clear, this has to be a two-way street. While the responsibility of our government is to build a plan, your personal responsibility is to take all.
So what if this shit does blow over by the end of the year and the world declares, we have beat the coronavirus? And then the next time they can do something bigger, make it more deadly. Then tell everybody, you know what, you can't even stay in your own home anymore. You have to come with us to these camps where we'll have everybody concentrated at
ranging from mild flu-like signs to severe pneumonia. It began in healthy-looking pigs, months, perhaps years ago. A new coronavirus spread silently within herds. Gradually, farmers started getting sick. Infected people got a respiratory illness with symptoms ranging from mild flu-like signs to severe pneumonia. The sickest required intensive care. Many died.
the fuck?
Experts agree, unless it is quickly controlled, it could lead to a severe pandemic, an outbreak that circles the globe and affects people everywhere.
I got that shit all on my phone yesterday.
The mission of the Pandemic Emergency Board is to provide recommendations to deal with the major global challenges arising in response to an unfolding
I was
pandemic.
ready to listen about the pigs.
The board is comprised of highly experienced leaders from business, public health, and civil society.
We could be looking at double the number of cases in 1 week and 16 times as many in a month if we are not able to stop the spread. That would be on the order of 500,000 cases, and it would continue to rise exponentially. In 3 months, we could be approaching 10 million cases.
So this was published on November the 4th, 2019.
Severe pandemic.
They were talking about this
And there are
shit early
problems
last year.
emerging that can
Well,
only
late
be
last year.
solved by global business and governments working together.
Yeah, this has been on the web since November the 4th of last year.
We have known about CAPS-like viruses in animals and people for decades, but have not been successful at developing a licensed vaccine. And sure, there are new technologies that may help, but it's going to be difficult. I am not optimistic about having a vaccine.
Alex Jones is bald now? You know what? I actually wanted to listen to some Alex and see what he was saying about this shit, because you know he's going all the way in, yo.
How should governments, business, and
Just try to get his spin on it.
allocate and distribute pandemic antivirals and medical supplies to the people who need them most?
What we've seen work very well in the HIV field, in fact, procurement through the Global Fund. A centralized mechanism for essentially able to procure on behalf of affected countries. I think the second thing is it's going to be very important that for the business sector, for manufacturers of antivirals, that we have clarity around what the needs and where the need is and coordinating the team.
I think given that those that are low income countries with unequal access to technology, to finances, the UN has a worldwide footprint, universally recognized, and universal membership.
A global stockpile would certainly help ensure more rational and strategic allocation, but the reality is that we don't have the logistics capability, even within the UN, to bring that together in one place and run it. So this is where I think a collaboration
to cause a depression to stop Trump.
Health Organization.
That's what we had to go through all of this, like kill motherfucking thousands and thousands of people just to get Donald Trump out of the office of the United States of America. So they had to kill all the people in China and shut down the holy city of Mecca just to get Trump out of office. That's crazy.
That cooperation among supply chain providers or businesses that have huge supply chains.
Make the National Football League lose billions of dollars for a season. Take all American kids out of school fucking 3 months early just to get Donald Trump out of office. That's a lot, bro. Like, it would be way easier just to JFK that motherfucker. Just to Martin Luther King his ass.
It is almost,
you know what I'm saying? Just hit him with the quick Malcolm X.
Without having a forward commitment for the consumption of that product. So the first thing that needs to be done.
This motherfucker say it took all of this just because we can't vote him out and put slow Joe Biden in there. But the only way is to take every movie actor off the set, every TV actor off the set.
Public health agencies have issued travel advisories.
Alex Jones will be alright. Maybe it's a good thing I'm not listening to Alex Jones right now.
As a result, the travel sector is taking a huge hit. Travel bookings are down 45% and many flights have been canceled.
Bill Gates said it years ago that Trump gonna be president and they gonna try to use the virus to take Trump out of office.
Are being hit particularly
Come on, man. I know Bill Gates been talking about viruses for years, bro. I'm always up on this shit too. You forget who you think you're talking to?
Balance the risk of worsening disease
Come on, man.
that will be caused by the continued movement of people around the world against the risks of profound economic consequence of travel and trade bans.
If there's some sense that there's a UN institution that can do all of this, then I worry we're suffering from a delusional disorder on the power of the UN. It's really important to get those industries and their trade associations and an efficient leadership established, which is decentralized, but has a collective responsibility and accountability. And that needs to be supported by the public.
How has Trump awakened anyone to the power elite? When has Trump ever called out anybody who's supposedly a power elite?
There's a whole complex set of issues in a highly interdependent world on supply chain.
Because he talks shit about your girl, Hillary.
Complex there is in that just-in-time supply chain system, and make sure it keeps running. I think it's going to take specificity. And it's going to take
I like that word, specificity.
The UN can play an important coordinating facilitation.
It's like a hard way to say specific shit, motherfucker.
And that's where a type of public-private collaboration that we have not generally had in these crises needs to be put together pretty quickly.
Public-private collaboration that we've never had before.
Money. Yes. But the fact is we are trending in a dangerous direction and something needs to change.
So the policy question for this board now is how should financial resources be prioritized? Are there nodes that we cannot allow to fail? What is your sense of priorities? We don't have money to pay for all of these urgent problems.
So at the moment, we want the funds, right? You need the money. So where's the money? So government kind of supplies some money. A lot of, private sectors, some are sitting here, you have some money. But now you need a really coordinated, centralized effort.
Hotels will be experiencing, crippling losses. And we know that the hotel business in itself.
Even if now Alex Jones has always talked about a police state, even a global police state. I don't think the global elite, if this is the next major move in their agenda, it's not because fucking anything to do with Trump. It's just because it's the next major move in their agenda. Trump just happened to be in office, just like goddamn Bush just happened to be in office when 9/11 happened.
Marshall type plan, don't mean to say that exactly, but a Marshall plan that can go into effect can stimulate a change very quickly.
Marshall plan, martial law.
Countries are reacting in different ways.
as to how best to manage the overwhelming amounts of dis and misinformation circulating over the internet. In some cases, limited internet shutdowns are being implemented to quell panic.
How much control of information should there be, and by whom? And how can false information be effectively challenged?
I mean, bro.
And what if that false information is coming from companies or from governments?
Trump exposing it how? Give me an example of how. You know, I don't fuck with Alex Jones, but Alex Jones exposed
where the social media platforms
like
have to
he just go ahead and tell it.
and recognize the moment to assert that they're a
What the fuck has Trump did or said that exposes other than fake news? It's fake. Fake news. I can't believe him.
Scientific and health communities to counterweight, if not flood the zone of accurate information, because to put the genie back in the bottle of the misinformation and disinformation is nigh impossible.
But that's always been coming. Once again, like we've already known this for a while, bro. Like I do believe in this digital police state. They're gonna fucking use all of like they have us so ingrained with smart devices now that they're gonna make it mandatory for you to keep like my location or whatever on your phone, so that they really do know where you're at all times.
So they can then pass that on. But we also need to actually think about a technology.
Like there's gonna be all kind of crazy implementations behind this, but we've all known this been coming, yo. Like you don't have your national ID card or your passport. You're not.
People died in the first
You probably can't even leave out your fucking city.
The outbreak was small at first and initially seemed controllable.
Like that's what I'm thinking about, yo. Like how they're just gonna reduce fucking travel so crazy, yo.
The spread of the disease was explosive. Within 6 months, cases were occurring in nearly every country. The global economy was in a free fall. The GDP down 11%. Stock markets around the world plummeted between 20 and 40% and headed into a downward cycle of fear and low expectation. Businesses were not borrowing, banks were not lending. Everyone was just hoping to hunker down and weather the storm. Economists say the economic turmoil caused by such a pandemic will last for years, perhaps a decade. The societal impacts, the loss of faith in government, the distrust of news, and the breakdown of social cohesion could last even longer. We have to ask, did this need to be so bad? Are there things we could have done in the 5 to 10 years leading up to the pandemic that would have lessened the catastrophic consequences? We believe the answer is yes. Are we, as a global community, now finally ready to do the hard work needed to prepare for the next pandemic?
And then a few months later, it comes out. But like people can already predict, yo, something like this will fuck you up for a decade, if not longer. Just like when when they went into Iraq hardcore after 9/11, they already said, yo, this is going to be a generational war. You know, in the very first month, they already say, yo, this is going to be fucking 20, 25 years we're doing this shit. How do you already predict that?
One of the reasons we are rolling out the emergency self-isolation payments starting next week of over $1,100 for a 2-week period until people can access a similar federal payment that will be available in the month of April. So that emergency cash should help folks who've had to take time off work to stay at home for health reasons, and as will the expanded federal EI payments. Let me say that I believe any good landlord is going to show flexibility to their tenants now. It would make absolutely no sense for a landlord to threaten to evict somebody who has no money to pay rent in the weeks to come, because who's going to take that space? So we've already seen many major landlords step forward with more flexible terms, and that's, I think, the preferred path. That's the smart path for landlords. We are in conversations with other provinces to see what they are doing, but if we were to absolutely block any future evictions. That means that even small, look, there's a lot of small mom and pop landlords out there who are going to be stressed paying their own mortgages. And if they don't have any revenue, then their financial situation falls into jeopardy. And there's also, as you know, there's sometimes the problem of bad tenants who might be involved in illegal activity or vandalism and things like that. And the landlords must be able to deal with truly problematic tenants. So this is a complex issue. We don't want to make the situation even worse unintentionally. Bottom line is we're giving people that cash infusion, and I think most landlords are stepping forward with relief.
Julia?
Question about the daycares that will be reopening. How many are you looking to reopen, and what's this timeline for the phase?
Minister Schultz?
That's a great question. So right now, we based our projections on what other provinces have done and what we've seen happen in other provinces. We are working to open up to 15,000 spaces. Again, we're prioritizing those in areas around the province like Calgary, Edmonton, Red Deer, Lethbridge, Fort McMurray, Grand Prairie, areas where our healthcare workers are already working at higher demand. We're going to have a number of those spaces open, hopefully around 6,000 as soon as Monday, Tuesday, and then continue to open.
Nobody won't ever end the Federal Reserve, bro. And if you wanted the Federal Reserve ended, you would have voted for goddamn Ron Paul a couple years ago, because that was Ron Paul's whole fucking platform was, yo, let's audit the fucking Fed. And I love that message, yo. Like, yeah, I want someone to audit the Fed. And that's why Ron Paul didn't get elected, because that was his main platform, yo. 120 years, the Fed ain't never been audited.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? They always talking all this big shit like, y'all don't need to audit us. We're not a part of the government. And so people know that shit. Yo, there's other candidates who's already exposed that shit and said that shit. Yo, like Trump ain't doing nothing fucking new.
A maximum of 30 people.
And I've never heard Trump say anything about the Fed, especially that the Fed isn't federal.
People coming into those
just that simple information.
As well as I believe
like Ron Paul was saying that shit over and over, like the Fed isn't federal.
Protocols for sanitation.
Yeah, two quick questions for Mr. Kenny in French.
Do you mind if I take the French at the end? Just for
We won't forget.
I won't forget.
Go ahead.
Has there been any conversations around the Alberta Works program, and if that's another option for people?
Well, you're talking about welfare or income assistance. So, look, we fully expect there will be a significant increase in applications and demand for Alberta Works for income support. And I know that Minister Sawhney's department, she and her department are preparing for that. We are looking at the eligibility criteria. We'll perhaps be making an announcement.
Oh, shit, I ain't think about that. Y'all might go get me some motherfucking food stamps. Yo, they cut my hours, my wages. I'm poor.
Irrelevant in the next couple of months because
I'm poor.
Yeah. So we are considering some short-term.
Yo, I need some food stamps.
Because for the folks who
I don't make enough income. Help me, government.
There might be some people who
I'll vote Democrat, I promise.
Oh
no.
The economy is contracting massively. For a lot of those folks, there just are no jobs out there. So, Minister Sawhney, would you like to add to that in any respect?
Yes, thank you, Premier, and that's absolutely true. We are looking at relaxation of some of the eligibility requirements, but I also do want to emphasize that it is a legislated benefit, and if Albertans are eligible for this program, they will definitely receive those emergency benefits and those income support benefits.
Follow up? We'll go to the phones. Operator, can you put through the first caller, please?
I was wondering why you ladies are so spaced out, and I realize it's social distancing, yes. I mean spaced out in a literal and not a metaphorical sense, to be clear.
Go ahead, operator, with the first caller, please.
Our first question comes from Chris Barco of the Calgary Herald. Your line is open.
Hi, Premier. I have two questions. The first one is, I ask you, what is the job of the new Economic Recovery Panel in terms of what role do you see it playing? Will it be looking at a long-term...
Damn, they got to take questions over the phone, yo. Very, very few people are allowed in the briefing room now. Like I say, yo, this shit is going to shut down, like, even normal media. If they keep this shit up, like, You won't have regular news broadcasts no more.
Experience in the Canadian economy.
All the even police departments are social distancing.
About the long term.
If you're not shot, bleeding, or some shit, yo, we not coming. Somebody robbed my house. Did he kill you? No. Did he try to kill you? No, he just stole my TV and PlayStation. Right off on your taxes, nigga. Call us if he come back with a gun. Yeah, report that shit stolen to the insurance company. That's in your check.
10% contraction in the U.S. economy in the second quarter of this year, a 30% contraction in Europe. Layer on top of that the total collapse in energy prices. I see a few minutes ago, Western Canadian
Hello, police? Yes, what's your emergency? My neighbors are causing so much loud noise, and I smell marijuana.
$5 in the second quarter of this year.
Is there gunshots?
Probably me.
No, they're just listening to some heavy metal music and smoking dope. All right, call us back if you hear some gunshots.
I don't like. Look, I'm not saying these things to cause people to have a sense of despair, but I think it's important for Albertans to be psychologically and financially prepared for what is coming at us. This will be, I believe, the most challenging time in our economy for several decades. So, given the depth of those challenges, it is essential that we begin developing strategies for a long-term recovery. And that, of course, the focus of that will be to continue accelerating the diversification of Alberta's economy, but also finding a way forward for our energy industry. And I've told this panel, I met with them by phone for the first time a couple of nights ago. I told the panel I really
met with them
to,
by phone
to have an absolutely no holds barred approach to this, to think boldly.
So now the little roundtable groups and the sneaky motherfuckers, they don't have to really hide anymore, you know what I'm saying? Because they do all this shit on the phone anyway. They're like, yeah, it's perfect, bro.
Serious adversity. And I think Stephen
Nobody goes to the meetings anyway.
Is just tremendous because he's dealt with the only economic crisis of a similar scale in recent decades, and that was the 2008 global financial crisis. So
yeah, 2008, that shit fucked my shit up back in the day too, bro. That shit got me unemployed the last time when they fucking around with the economy. That's why I pay attention to this shit, man. Yo, swear to God, yo, 2008, yo, man, lost my fucking job over that dumbass shit.
So far, all we have, Chris, is anecdotal, but let me say that I am fully expecting that the March labor force survey that we'll see in a couple of weeks will be one of the worst records for joblessness in Alberta history. I think we saw the number of unemployment claims nationally go up by I think they had over 240,000 claims just reported, and I think that's just the beginning of this. Obviously, we are seeing massive layoffs as a result directly of the public health response to the virus in areas like the tourism sector, hospitality, and aviation. At the same time, we're seeing very significant layoffs.
You touch you, and you touch something else, and it's like, fuck. And it's this vicious little cycle of trying to figure out where the fuck did it originate. Yeah, like, it keeps getting on me from where, I don't know what the fuck I'm touching.
I cannot understate, excuse me, I should rephrase that.
Touch the trash can, touch the chair. Hey, that's how that coronavirus spreading, yo. Perfect example of germs. Everything affected. Yo, it should spread so fast.
That after the
you know what? If I was good at video editing and doing some shit like that, I would make that a little quick. Like,
JP Morgan that projects a 14% decline.
Put that together like paint.
This is not a virus. 12% increase in demand in the third quarter, and they sort of see that happening globally. But to be honest, Chris, I don't foresee that happening in Alberta because when we get out of the COVID shutdown, we'll be experiencing the effects of the price collapse on energy. So that is why we'll be doing everything within our power. We're working with the federal government to protect people's financial security, their jobs, and our broader economy.
They're not making money off of that.
Operator, can you put through the next caller, please?
Isn't Instagram closed?
Your next question
Facebook
comes
is
from
closed?
David Staples of the Edmonton Journal. Your line is open.
Companies not closed down?
Yeah, but you know, like those are the tech companies. They already smart enough how to work from home and keep that shit up. And like you said, as long as there's just like one or two people in the building.
Down to give us breathing space so the healthcare system can limit deaths and prepare for the enormity of the outbreak. Or is this more of a kind of a permanent new normal with an idea to suppress the outbreak in this way for many, many, many months?
Well, the truth is, we don't know. But by taking stringent measures now, we hope to, first of all, ensure that our healthcare system can cope with the peak of infections, and secondly, that this does not have to be the new normal. There is some hopeful data out of China that this week they've had, well, at least a couple of days ago, they had no new cases reported. And we've seen in jurisdictions like Hong Kong, Taiwan, Singapore, and South Korea that very aggressive public health measures ultimately the growth in the pandemic, and in some of those jurisdictions, they've had very low incidence of infection. So we certainly hope to follow the example of those jurisdictions rather than places like Italy, and perhaps some of the U.S. states that allowed it to run out of control before taking rigorous measures. As you know, David, the basic public health strategy here is through aggressive measures to prevent the growth of infections so that the peak is below the maximum capacity of the healthcare system to cope. The projections that I've been given by the modelers at Alberta Health Services indicate that we will be below, that we will achieve that goal, that the peak of infections and hospitalizations, particularly in intensive care and those who require ventilator support, will be below the maximum capacity of our healthcare system. That's partly because of prudent planning on the part of AHS, where they have stockpiled enormous inventories of equipment. They ordered 50 additional ventilators when they saw the first outbreak of coronavirus in China. And this is also why we invoked a public health emergency, so that we can better manage human resources in the system for the peak. But that's basically that's the battle plan, which is to constrain the spread so that we're below the maximum capacity of the health system.
The only way they can communicate is in warlike terms all the time. So that's the battle plan.
Probably see several weeks of
Jesus, guys.
Rigorous social.
Everything doesn't have to be a war metaphor.
Hopefully, by end of May, beginning of June, we can see some relaxation of those measures.
The beginning of June, right?
Will be based on the advice of Dr. Hinshaw.
Do you have a follow-up, David?
Okay, Dr. Henshaw, you got the final say, bro.
Confident that we're building up right now, kind of, not that we're having breathing space right now, but by these kind of stringent measures, we're now taking advantage of that and kind of building up our maximum. Doing enough so that we can take on a lot more.
That's exactly it.
It gives you confidence.
The strategy is two things. Try to limit the peak of infections as much as possible and maximize the capacity of the healthcare system as much as possible. And we are doing both of those things. The reason for the declaration of a public health emergency was so we could begin planning now to ensure the personnel are in place, adequately trained personnel to operate those ventilators in those intensive care units. And that is also why our government surged $500 million into the health budget this week on an extraordinary basis. And I'll repeat what I've said before, we will spare no expense to combat the pandemic. We will undoubtedly be providing additional funds to AHS.
Operator, can you please put through the next caller?
The next question comes from James Keller of the Globe and Mail. Your line is open.
You're expecting to make more announcements on the economic front in the coming days. If you can't give details, can you talk about the scope of what's needed for the province and affinity sector, particularly when you're comparing this to?
All right, guys, this is an after work stream. I know I talked for a little minute in here. That's just because I'm
Well,
nervous
it's funny,
about this coronavirus
was
shit, and
in
they're talking
Deputy
about
Prime Minister
lockdowns
Freeland's
and
office
shut-ins,
in
and
8 days ago.
sound like I'm
And
at a
she and I
church
talked
revival or
about
something, man.
1
Man,
to
fuck
2%
that. You know what I'm
of
saying? I got
GDP as a benchmark for stimulus.
to really decide
countercyclical
my
stimulus in a
plan of
context
escape
like
if
this.
shit gets hectic.
And then she and I were speaking a couple of
But,
days ago, and we had seen
since this is a
the
commission
French
tomorrow,
government
try to wake up with a nice, clear mind, and we're gonna get in this studio and hit it fucking super hard tomorrow.
Which would be like 500 million Canadian dollars in a recovery package.
Like I said, it's been so long since I've done a black and white paint, and I
we also
forget
saw that
how fun these things
everything else
are.
that's
Like
happening here. So
50 Shades of
I
Grey.
don't think we've seen
And just trying to make
something
all
like
the
this again
grays
for at least 70 years
just
in terms of what will be
different
required
enough.
in
Like,
action. Now, what's
it's a
further complicated
challenge.
is this is not a normal situation.
People think
where
of black and white painting
policymakers can just
is easier.
put the
I guess
pedal to the metal
it's easier
on
in the
fiscal
sense that I
policy.
don't have to constantly
where would we surge
refill
that
a
money
lot
into?
of
How do
different
you
colors.
create demand in an
But it's
economy that
a greater
which
challenge in the
elements of
fact
which
that
are
you
generally
only
different.
have two colors
So
and have
our
to make
focus
this
right
shit
now
look
will be on
in
the
three
liquidity
dimension.
crisis. That's first of
So-
all cash in the hands of families.
That's
but
the
also
fun
in
part.
Alberta here, uniquely, a liquidity crisis in our largest industry. So we are working with the federal government in that respect. And then we're simultaneously we're developing a stimulus strategy. But I think we're going to try to keep powder dry until post-pandemic, so we can surge that extra demand into the economy, hopefully in the summer, where actually we'll have
All
a
these
meaningful effect.
metaphors,
when
we're
businesses
gonna try to
are
keep the
reopening,
powder
people are
dry.
getting back to work and buying things again. So that's
Just talk to
and
me,
then
bro. Like,
in the longer term, it's about a longer term recovery, and that's why we've appointed this panel.
Do you have a follow-up, James?
Definitely. And what specifically, I mean, you sort of alluded to some of it, but what specifically do you want to see from the federal government? We expect some sort of announcement from Ottawa next week. There's been some talk about Orphan Wells and fiscal stabilization, but those are not new ideas. So what more do we need from that?
Well, we appreciate the $11 billion of additional credit backstop provided to the Business Development and Export Development Banks of Canada.
I gotta
we are
kiss
working
ass real
very
quick.
closely with the Minister Morneau, with those banks, with the Canadian chartered banks, and the oil and gas industry in Alberta to maximize access to that credit backstop for our producers. And we are in constant discussions with Ottawa on that point. I think the Government of Canada understands that we cannot afford to
said, man, this
lose
shit got the
the
whole
single
world.
largest subsector of the Canadian economy. The
Canada
largest
say they
export
smart, yo. They
industry
like, yo,
that
as soon as
is
we heard that shit
responsible
going
for
down in
about
China,
20%
we
of the
ordered
revenues that
50
the Government of
fucking
Canada
whatever,
collects, that is responsible for the
these
direct
ventilator
employment of over
respirator
a
shits. Like,
quarter
oh, that
of
shit gonna get
Canadians
crazy. Let's get our
and
shit
the
now.
indirect employment of hundreds of thousands of
Other
others.
motherfuckers
Last
whining,
week,
oh,
I
we
took
don't have medical
to Ottawa the
supplies.
following
Sorry
message
for you,
that Ottawa
bitch.
was prepared to save the auto industry and with it much of the industrial heartland of central Canada. In 2008, during the global financial crisis, we need support of that scale and ambition now, and I believe that message is being heard. Let me tell you, yesterday I was on a call with the Council of the Federation, and I was frankly emotionally deeply moved to hear remarkable expressions of solidarity from premiers across the country, including from Atlantic Canadian premiers who are facing enormous economic challenges.
What's for
who say,
dinner?
"Alberta
I'm
has
getting
always been good to
hungry.
us. It's time for the rest of Canada to be good
What
to
should
Alberta."
we eat
So
for
I really
dinner?
feel that we
Stank,
we have a
motherfucker,
sense of
stank.
solidarity across the Federation for the unique challenges we're
I
facing.
might have some fried bologna sandwiches. So no. You don't like your bologna fried? You gotta fry that shit, man.
Oui. On a vu une chute des prix d'énergie le plus grave dans notre histoire aujourd'hui.
Those histoires, I forget, like in Canada, it's cool if you speak French or English, like on the fly, like bitch, French is our national language, but we'll let you speak English if you don't know better. Because I am so French Canadian that I choose to speak en addition I just make fun because I don't know how to speak the language, and I'm slightly jealous that I'm not bilingual. Always will be. Fuck you, Frenchie. curse me out in English and curse me out in French. I don't like that shit, man. Like these Chinese motherfuckers on the game one time, they was racist as fuck. But they started cursing me out in Chinese and then cursing me out in English. I was like, fuck you, motherfucker. I wish I can say fuck you in your own language too, bitch.
Par rapport aux éditorialistes.
So your ancestors feel it.
Aussi en Alberta, qui ont posté sur les réseaux sociaux
On se
des choses qui minimisaient un peu la crise de
la
qui mettaient en doute les informations officielles qui étaient partagées par le gouvernement. Je voudrais savoir ce que vous en pensez.
Moi, je n'ai pas vu ça, mais...
Why are we listening to French? I don't know what the fuck they say.
Si les gens ont doute de la gravité... Excusez-moi. Si les gens ne croient pas la réalité de cette menace...
The nigga said dead ass.
No.
He was like, yo, I'm dead ass, nigga. It's coronavirus.
If we bail out nuclear corporations, electricity prices will go up. And when electricity costs more, food costs more.
Food costs more. And when food costs more, people starve.
This comes from our Laura Strickler. About 280 clinicians in Washington State have been told to prepare for
She
the
said
possibility
clinicians. What the fuck is
professionals
that?
across the state will have to begin rationing healthcare, including those all too
Oh my
precious ventilators
God.
for coronavirus
You gotta
patients.
ration healthcare. How do you do that?
Rationing care or
Like, yo, I got this weird ass rash. A rash? Get the fuck out of here. Put some calamine lotion on that shit, bitch.
Than ventilators. Now, a 2010 study found that Washington State has just under
Gotta
1,000
ration healthcare.
ventilators, and as of Thursday, the state had more than 1,300 confirmed coronavirus cases and 74 reported deaths. So
Have
those
an old
numbers
man
there,
come up in there and be like, oh, my back hurts. I know it does. You're fucking old. Now go home.
if you are above a certain age and we have a shortage of ventilators, you don't get one. Just underscoring out and how dire that situation really is. Now turning to a little bit of relief for Americans with student loans.
Yeah, you don't need to be here.
Of Education.
I'm shot. You shot. Yeah. Where at?
You got
You'll be alright. Yeah, you good. It came out. It came out, nigga. You got it. Yeah. That shit barely grazed you, bro. You bitching, nigga. Niggas get shot every day, B.
Set to 0% for a period of at least 60 days. In addition, each of these borrowers
You know what? I had him on my mind. I was gonna text him and be like, yo, because he went back to his home. Yeah, but I'm like, yo, is you good over there? I was gonna say, you good over there, nigga? Like, shit's wild over there, bro. Like, and then him, like, he got down, especially not thinking him, like, if he has rehabilitation or some kind of physical therapy, once again, you're rationing healthcare. Where do you go if you need that? I just went through this incident, but you telling me I can't find a doctor to help me walk?
As of March 13th.
This shit is fucking up. Crazy shit, yo.
Delinquent, essentially just giving borrowers a safety net during this time of emergency. And lastly, another education headline: students that have been forced to stay home from school can be exempt from standardized tests. The Secretary of Education said upon proper request, the Education Department will grant a waiver to any state that is unable to assess its students due to this emergency. Allison, just some headlines we're keeping track of, and we'll be updating you on everything that comes across our desk here.
So much to keep track of. Thank you so much for helping us out, Dasha. And of course, you can visit our live blog, nbcnews.com/coronavirus. We will have plenty more.
Yo,
updates.
coronavirus got his own websites and shit now, yo. That shit crazy, yo. Coronavirus got more clicks on Instagram than I do. Shit crazy.
Hey everyone, I'm Allison Morris watching NBC News now.
Coronavirus like a superstar.
Headlines.
The latest.
Together. New York State forcing all non-essential workers to stay home. Governor Andrew Cuomo saying this order does not.
I'm so happy I am an essential worker, yo. I never thought that like I would make it this far in life. Where, you know, during the fucking apocalypse, I still gotta go to work. Like, I I'm so fucking essential. Like they can't do it without me.
The
Like
US
without me,
border with Mexico
it'd fall. It would be no job.
across the border because of the coronavirus threat. Travel for medical purposes,
I'm
emergency
the glue,
responses,
nigga.
public health services, attendance at
I'm the
educational
glue
institutions,
holding this
and
whole
lawful
operation
cross-border
together.
trade will still be allowed. More than 625 people have died in Italy since yesterday. That is
Everybody's,
the biggest day-to-day
but now
increase
it's
in the
like
country
today, like people
since
just
the
realize.
outbreak
Even my boss,
started.
she just like,
Coronavirus has now killed more
you
than
doing hanging out? Like,
4,000 people.
yeah.
What?
She's like, what you doing? Just hanging out? I'm like, yeah.
Treasury
You know,
Secretary
she's
Stephen
like,
Mnuchin tweeted today that all
yeah,
American
like, she's like,
taxpayers and
okay.
businesses have until July 15th.
But then she
to
did
file
tell me,
and
she's
make
like, you read the
payments
email
without
about the
interest or
people not sending it. I was like,
he
you know, but when
encouraged
she came
anyone who's
in,
expecting a
I
refund
was
to file now to
wiping
get
out
that
one
money.
of the
And then
keyboards and stuff. Like, that shit's crazy.
The Senate started talking today about the $1 trillion emergency coronavirus stimulus
Emergency coronavirus stimulus package. Damn, that shit long as fuck to say. We can't get an acronym for that shit.
NBC's Capitol Hill correspondent Leanne McCall joined me from Capitol Hill. Leanne,
Why don't you just say Corona check, nigga? Everybody's looking for their Corona check.
Expensive one too. But other things
Federal government coronavirus stimulus package. What?
You lost me. Loans and grants these small businesses to get them through
God
this
damn,
crisis.
man.
There's also about
It's the Corona check.
$250
You know,
billion
man.
for corporations like the airline
The
industry. and
CC.
other
Everybody's
big
getting the
businesses.
CC.
People around here insist that it's not a bailout, that these are loans that the industries have to pay back. But those are the other major components of the bill. But in the meantime, they're in negotiations with the Democrats who have a lot of things they want to add, including unemployment insurance. So we might see the final details as early as tonight, maybe sometime this weekend, Allison.
Leanne, we know that bill needs bipartisan support, but we're hearing that the GOP is divided. What's going on there? What do you know?
I'm 93.7%.
A lot of provisions where, I mean, this is big stuff, and it's controversial. No one's necessarily on all the same pages.
Are the court closed?
For example, those direct payments
Oh yeah, you know what? You should Google that and see if they're shutting down courthouses, local courthouses.
And the Democratic
See if they're
Party
shutting that shit
is
down.
not pleased with is that it phases in for the lowest income earners. So what they want is they say
I fuck up a lot when I speak, so that's why I like making fun of other people. I'm so petty in that kind of way, but
so,
fuck it.
we are told that that is likely to go away, that phase in, and so that it starts from people, at the lowest income level all the way to where it is capped. But, they're still working out these details. Democrats and Republicans didn't start negotiating in earnest until today, and there's some hang-ups, including around unemployment insurance. While it's probably going to be included in the bill, how are they going to pay for it? How broad is it going to be? How expansive? There's a self-imposed deadline of midnight tonight. We'll see if they make it. They've been working throughout the day, and if they do make it, that'll be the Senate working at a record-breaking pace, Allison.
It's not the Senate. They get a room full of young-ass people to write this shit up as fast as they possibly can, using a bunch of legal jargon, making sure that nobody's able to sue their ass over like little shit. It's like you had like these old ass Senate fuckers in there actually writing up these bills, yo. You got a whole group of bill writers, and then the Senate agrees on it or not.
Outline laid out is that they would like checks to go out April 6th, so in a couple of weeks from now. But that means everything has to go according to plan, and that means that the checks are mailed April 6th. So it'll take a few days to get into people's
who gets it? Who qualifies for it? How do you know who qualifies for it? Where do you sign up and apply for it? Oh my god!
Dollars in stocks weeks before the coronavirus tanked the markets. Republican Senator Kelly Loeffler
Yeah,
of
we
Georgia
about
is
to.
one of
I
those
gotta
people.
eat, yo. I'm getting hungry as fuck.
She
Yo.
defended
I ain't
herself
lying.
on Fox News earlier today.
And I'm at a really good stopping point.
It's absolutely false.
So I'm gonna just cut off right here, guys.
Look at the personal transaction report.
Got a little bit of details going on the jewelry.
Only informed of my.
Working on the jewelry. So we'll come back tomorrow and start detailing the bracelets a little more. That's probably going to be like one of the longer parts because it is just like a lot of little small details and lines on the jewelry, and then her forearms and her shirt should go fairly quick. And after I get this portion of her sleeve done, and then I'll bring her hair down, because essentially her hair is falling over her shirt. So I want to get the shirt done so you can see the shirt through her hair. And so I'm just going to play it that way. Like I said, continue to bring it down from the jewelry to her forearms, do her shirt, come back and do her hair. And then after we do that, we'll start back from the top, start adding some more details on the second layer, and start adding some details and highlights to the hair. And then the background, oh shit. If they're shutting down all non-essential businesses, I don't think the art store is going to be open, yo. I don't know if we'll see. I have some stuff. Me and the client I'm doing this for are playing around with a couple of ideas for the background. I'm thinking I may have enough gold leaf. We're trying to do a gold leaf background conceptually on it, but I did gold leaf on 2 paintings recently, and I know I brought a lot, and I do have some more left, but I would probably want some more just to make sure I had enough to cover as much of this canvas as I want, because this is a large format canvas. It's 3 feet by 4 feet, so it's not little. That's what's up, bro. But yo, now why everybody on quarantine and all that shit, bro? You know what I'm doing? I'm still be up here providing this art and education. We all gonna stick through this shit together. Like I say, I still have work next week, so for those of you who don't have work, I don't know, guys. Try to stay positive. Try to find something to occupy your time. Like I said, they're shutting down a lot of movie production, a lot of TV production. So just find a show that's already completed, you know, that has like 16 seasons, and start watching that shit. Now's the time to get all those good books you've always wanted to read, but you never really had time to. Now it's time to do all of that kind of shit, yo. And for me, like if they do stop me from going to work, y'all already know what I'm gonna do with my quarantine time. Unless that shit get hella bad, I'm gonna sit right here and fucking think. Cause I'm thinking too, like, man, if this shit just some weird ass flu that's gonna pass over, Mike can ride it out here. If motherfuckers in my city start dropping dead from this shit, yo.
You know what look good back there? Like a marble effect with like splatters.
Alright, so let me turn some shit off. Put my phone back on the regular settings. And once again, guys, I do apologize about the chat. I don't know why it does that. And like I said, it's been doing that for weeks now. So maybe the next time I stream, we'll get some chat. Maybe not. I'm gonna find something to eat. Something for dinner. And I need to look at some sneaker concepts too, so I can start working on this pair of custom Nikes, yo. Try to catch up on these art projects. I took a whole week off when I went on vacation. Alright, appreciate y'all chilling in the studio. Sorry I didn't get as much painting done as normal, but peace till next time.